over to you, John.
Viva la raza! Welcome to the RTB Wrestling Recap Watch Along on the WWE Network. So, I'm John. I'm here once again. But thankfully, you're not just stuck with me. I'd like to say that today we've got the three amigos looking back on the career of Eddie Guerrero. So, first and foremost, I'll introduce my two colleagues. The first one, his only real experience with Latino heat has been when he leaves his sangria out in the garden for too long on a hot sunny day. Please welcome Mr. Sean. How are you doing today?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks, mate. Loving the intro.
Cheers, mate. And I had to think of something. I mean, this one's definitely going to be a lot more accurate, though, I think, because when you think of the phrase lie, cheat, and steal, it essentially just covers playing this next gentleman on FIFA and what he will do to win. So please welcome along, Adam. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm very good. I'm very, very good. That's nonsense, by the way. That intro. I am.
I beg to differ.
Yes,
I beg to differ. So we've chosen to go with the legendary, but sadly no longer with us, Eddie Guerrero this evening for our watch along. So I've got an idea of where I'm going. I think it's going to be slightly outside of the box, but before I go there, just to check that nobody's had the same idea as me, I'm going to ask you two both to explain what your match choice was and what was your reasoning behind it. So I'll start with you, Sean, if you want.
Yeah, I've gone for, purely because over the last few weeks we've talked about him a lot, and I know Adam's a big fan. I've got Eddie Guerrero versus Rob Van Dam at WWE Backlash 2002.
What a splendid choice.
So I think it's a good... Yeah, exactly. We can analyse them roly-polies, and yeah, and it was a good era for wrestling, I think, 2002. That was when I was a young lad and enjoying it, as I said last podcast, getting up early in the morning before school and watching it. So hopefully it takes me back and a bit of nostalgia in there,
Sounds good to me. I'm very much looking forward to that one. Adam, what part of Eddie Guerrero's career have you chosen to look at?
I've decided to look for the pinnacle of his career, which was when he fought against Brock Lesnar. I think it was a real sort of mean machine versus the underdog type of fight. I actually don't know how it ends, and I don't think I ever saw the match, but I've heard about it. So I figured that was probably one of the highlights of his career. So that's why I decided to go for that one tonight.
It's a brilliant choice. I won't say any more than that, just so that it's not spoilt for you. But you won't be disappointed, in my honest opinion. That's really good, because I've got my one, which comes from a different aspect of his career. And for the first time ever on one of these watch-alongs, we are going to delve into the back catalogue of WCW, which will be really interesting. So anyone that's listening, if you ever talk about famous Eddie Guerrero matches, one of the ones that you will hear the most of that's outside of his WWE career will be a Cruiserweight Championship defense that he has against Rey Mysterio at the 1997 Halloween Havoc. So as you know, we normally do our matches chronologically, so this will be the first one that we watch. So I will talk a little bit more about the match and what was kind of leading into it, and there's a lot on the line in this, not as opposed to just it being for a championship. So we'll go into that. What you will need to do, though, first, if you're going to join along with us, is go onto your WWE network. If you go to the in-ring section and then select all shows and then go to WCW pay-per-views, you should find your way back to 1997, Halloween Havoc from October 26th of 1997. You will need to go in and you should start with us at 28 minutes and 30 seconds. Not to confuse you, but you will see Mean Gene Okerlund stood in the middle with Deborah McMichael and Steve Mongo McMichael either side of him. This is not a drill. That is not something that we will be watching, as disappointed as I all know you will be. But 28 minutes and 30 seconds, and we'll play from there. So if we just give you sort of a few seconds to work that one out, and we will join you again shortly.
Look at Mean Gene.
Okay, fabulous. Now, if you're joining us, so 28 minutes 30 seconds on Halloween Havoc 97, and if we all press play in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Amazing. Oh, I love this old Rey Mysterio music as well. It's like I've proper forgotten about it. Look at the
It's
set.
it's not Booyaka Booyaka.
No. That's more of a modern thing. But I love the way
Oh my
WCW used to really go in with their sets.
He looks like a Power Ranger.
Yeah, legit does, doesn't it? It looks like you're scared by his own pyro for a second as well. But like
Oh
this,
wow,
this is
he's super skinny then, isn't he?
yeah, man, big time. Like, doesn't wrestling miss this these days? Like, I wish they did have different sets for like different shows. Like I know it's probably like not the most cost effective, but like it really makes it look good.
Mm.
It separates and makes shows feel a bit different from each other.
Yeah, definitely.
NWO when NWO was a big thing.
Yeah, this is peak NWO era. Oh man, here he comes. Here he is. He just oozes cool, doesn't he?
He has got a bit of a rock star look to him, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's just amazing. But like, so
Anthony Kiedis about him actually. If I
I actually could see
angle.
that. So for those of you who don't know who Anthony Kiedis is, he's not some young UK independent wrestler. We're talking about the frontman of the famous rock group Red Hot Chili Peppers, who we're all like very big fans of. But the lead up to this match, so just to give you a bit of context, guys, is that Eddie Guerrero, as you can see, cruiserweight champion, they done a lot of work on on TV leading up to this in talking about the importance of lucha libre, and particularly with the element of lucha libres wearing masks. And Eddie Guerrero at this time had kind of developed an obsession with trying to unmask Rey Mysterio. So the whole premise of the match was for Mysterio, it was about winning the championship and for also protecting his mask. So if Guerrero wins this match, we're going to have to see Rey Mysterio unmask. If not, we're going to just see we'll end up seeing the title changing hands. So
how many times they pulled that story afterwards, right? Unmasking Rey Mysterio.
Exactly.
to be honest though, that's like the big thing in Mexico, isn't it? Really, like all of their stuff is like mask matches, like in like Mexican wrestling.
Right?
Well, it's yeah, a lot of famous like I don't know, like you get some. I'm not the most well versed or well researched on it, but it's obviously it's a huge part of the culture. So it's very different. Like it's not like when people come over to sort of America now and they just get unmasked and put on TV without their mask straight away. In Mexico, they put a lot of value in. Like I guess it helps business because you can have two luchadors where one of them will be unmasked as well.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess it's a big deal. Wow, this is a quick fight.
I was gonna say you could see the difference in how he moves to how he moves now. I guess 23 years will do that to you, but I mean,
oh, definitely.
That's speaking from experience there, John.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
how old is Eddie Guerrero here? Do you know?
If I was to do the maths, he'd probably be like early, probably like 30, early 30s maybe.
And Rey Mysterio?
Probably in his mid 20s, I'm guessing.
I mean, that was quite impressive, wasn't it? He's absolutely. He's. I can understand the big deal about Rey Mysterio now when I look at how fast he moves around that ring.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's unheard of. Like so, because I think actually this match might surprise a lot of people if they're only used to Rey Mysterio in WWE. Just how gracefully he moves and how easy he makes everything look. And I think the style of that WCW Cruiserweight division at the time, it was, if you think like Sean was saying off mic actually about some of the other matches that were on this show. If you think the main event of this pay-per-view was Hulk Hogan against Rowdy Roddy Piper, and you think, well, what are you going to see in the ring from those two against what you're going to see here? And there's a real contrast of styles, which for a long period of time really worked in the favour of WCW because they went out of their way to find like different wrestlers from around the world with different styles to kind of make it a lot more interesting.
What happened to WCW? Was it just poor contract management? Was it poor finances that they just overstretched?
I mean that's an episode in itself. Like the mismanagement of the company was just unbelievable from start to finish, really. But I mean, there was a year. I think it was 2000, which might have been. I think it was their last official calendar year in business because they went out of business fairly early in 2001, and it's something like they lost like $68 million in that year or something like that.
Wow.
And there were things like, they would put people on contracts and they wouldn't realise they weren't even using these people. So I mean, there's a famous story about Macho Man's brother receiving 150 grand a year from WCW and never once appeared on their TV, never turned up to one event or anything. It was part of a deal to sweeten up Macho Man when he was coming in. So like he ended up getting his brother like sort of like close to $1 million or something over the course of a period of time.
These two had great chemistry though, didn't they? They had a few good
yeah. I was actually quite surprised that one of their other fights from WWE wasn't picked, because you've got the whole the legendary custody of Dominic ladder match.
Yeah.
Adam, are you familiar with that?
No.
So they ran a storyline where like Eddie and Ray were like tag team partners in the they were tag champs at one point, and they did a match at WrestleMania where it was just to see who the better man was, and Ray won, and the idea kept becoming that Eddie was jealous that he couldn't beat Ray, and he ends up turning on him and so on, and then they go for the sort of like Eddie playing mind games bit where they create some backstory where Ray and his wife had been having trouble conceiving, and Eddie was like on his wild child days and had a child with a woman that like he had no intention of bringing up the child. So, and it turns out that was Ray's son Dominic. So they created this whole backstory, like pretending that Eddie was actually his real dad, and made it a part of the storyline. They ended up doing a ladder match at SummerSlam for the custody of the kid. It's just absolutely, it's every bit as bonkers as it sounds. And then what's even funnier about it is this same Dominic is now currently on TV with Rey Mysterio.
He's about on TV, by the way.
Awful. Well, he's about a foot taller and about 3 times as wide. And it's going to be interesting because he's about to embark on an in-ring career as well.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, what a move!
Man. This is going to be good.
Yeah.
I did watch on Channel 5. They do a little recap of what's going on currently, and it was, I think, every Sunday morning.
That's about right.
And I was having a bit of a watch, and firstly I was a bit shocked to see Randy. Oh, nice kick, nice drop kick. It was quite interesting to see. Obviously Randy Orton's punting people in the head again. I was like, what year is this?
Yeah, 100%.
But actually, do you know it was another what year is this moment, because seeing Eddie Guerrero there, and then obviously his son. So is his son a big deal now? Is his son going to be?
It's Rey Mysterio's son, not Eddie's. But
that's what I meant.
Yeah. It would have been a big shock if Eddie Guerrero was on SmackDown.
Yeah, I was going to say. It looks like he's going to be transitioning into an in-ring role, which I wonder if he's going to get fast-tracked a bit too quick before he's had a lot of time to actually like hone his craft as such. So it's going to be interesting to watch.
Because he done a little thing with Brock there, didn't he? Before.
Oh, hello. He's gone for the mask
already.
There's a really cool documentary which covers this match that's on the network. It's another one of those WWE Untold episodes, but it's about Ray, Eddie, and the Rumble. But they actually do a little bit of a deep dive and talk about this match in more detail. Also, a little bit perturbed to see Eddie Guerrero doing a camel clutch. I mean, like, he's in no way Middle Eastern. He's got no right to do that move. So
again, though, looking at the age of the crowd, it's fascinating to see. Now you see more like kids in the crowd, but there it's like an older generation.
Yeah, it's definitely more of an adult based. I mean, I guess because WCW was the promotion of the South in America, right. So it was very much like families that had grown up watching the wrestling and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's probably a lot of lifelong fans sat in that audience.
Yeah.
Bobby Heenan's on this match, man. What? But none of us should be talking. We should be listening to Bobby.
I'm looking forward to seeing. I'm actually looking forward to seeing this match explode. I've got a feeling it's going to go a million miles an hour. I'm just waiting for that moment.
Jeez, he's in good shape there, though, isn't he, Guerrero? Blimey.
It's been very sort of like slow, deliberately kind of. Well, I say slow. It started quick for the first minute or two, and they've kind of gone into that deliberate. Eddie's taking control and pacing through, and it's yeah, you are right. It feels like it is going to explode into life, and my God, does it? Oh.
Blimey.
No, there's I mean, like, did you guys ever watch a lot of WCW?
I actually watched WCW more than I watched WWF. I think I was more of a WCW person.
Wow.
Yeah. So, obviously the Hollywood Hogan and stuff like that. I mean, so essentially I never had, when I was a kid, I never had Sky. So, so basically I just had normal television. And so WCW would be the stuff that was always on the television, on Channel 5, if I remember correctly. And then obviously it went out of business. I do remember there was a friend of ours who would bring around the Raw episode in the playground. It would be on tape, on a VHS. So yeah, I never knew.
You do the rounds on Raw.
Exactly, and you never had it. You never had the opportunity to watch it on the internet in an affordable way, right? So yeah, WCW was the one I sort of followed.
I think WCW went to Channel 5 when it was on the decline, because my recollection of WCW would be like 96, 97 sort of time, and it'd be like Friday night, Cartoon Network would come off the air, and then at like 6 or 7, and then it'd be like TNT, and you'd go straight into WCW Nitro on a Friday night. That was awesome getting to watch that.
Ooh.
That was... Yeah, I know that's gotta hurt, isn't it?
I was gonna say.
He's definitely not the dad of that kid now.
Yeah. A moment's silence.
Here we go. This is where it'll get very interesting. Oh, God,
it's building.
Such jumps and risks is scary.
Yeah.
Building for sure.
It's amazing he had he's still going, isn't he? Like the career that he's had, when he does spots that he does. So dangerous.
He's had his fair share of surgeries. I mean, like, you think about the impact that's having on the joints and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like dives like that, it's just insane.
You don't see many high flyers stand the test of time like that.
Well,
I mean, I know he's had his breaks and stuff, but he's.
Oh my God!
Oh, I love that move.
Oh, the Hurricane Rana into the bridge. It's just, but the natural athleticism to do that is just unbelievable.
I know. Is he from a wrestling family?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe his uncle trained. You're talking about Ray, right?
Yes.
Ray's uncle trained him when he was like a teenager. And I think Eddie started like very young, but Eddie comes from like a really sort of famous wrestling family. So.
Because he become like the face of SmackDown then, didn't he, Guerrero?
He did. It's because I think SmackDown used to get a very sort of Hispanic audience. So they wanted Mysterio and Guerrero on SmackDown for that.
Oh my God.
Oh man, that's ridiculous.
Blimey.
And at the time, I think genuinely crowds in America were not conditioned to seeing matches like this as much.
Yeah.
Like I think now, like they've got like there's a lot of acrobatics and a lot of like flips and so on, but it probably is at a stage where it's taken for granted. This was genuinely pioneer. My God, the way that he just changed his body in midair there for the corkscrew is unreal. It's heating up, like you say.
It is
definitely heating up. But I don't know about you, but looking at those fans on camera at the moment, they don't really seem out of their seat at this stage.
Yeah.
No.
So it's like, are they the guys that have basically turned up just to watch Hogan? You know, like, oh man,
ouch.
Oof.
Oh,
brutal
that's
impact.
surely.
My God.
Nah.
Oh no. What would to be honest, in those days I thought the powerbomb was the
as the go-to, mate. Yeah.
Actually, do you know what? You don't see many powerbombs around nowadays, do you?
You do and you don't. I don't think anyone's using it as a standard finisher, from what I can remember.
I do remember it being a big finisher in the...
It was a big power move, wasn't it?
Batista was the best at that.
Yeah, Batista bomb.
Batista bomb, yeah.
Batista was good.
Undertaker did that last ride one.
Yeah, the last ride.
I mean, Psycho Sid was the dude with the power bomb, or like Diesel Kevin Nash with the jackknife power bomb and things like that. Oh wow. This. There we go.
Kofi Kingston-esque.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, dude, they would have all grown up watching this as well.
Yeah.
Like, so this match probably had such an influence on like so many people that we watch now. Oh my god.
So would Ray have been breaking through now? He wouldn't be a household name.
Yeah, I mean, he was becoming a household name. Eddie Guerrero had sort of made his name in ECW, like, and obviously in Mexico as well.
Yeah.
But like ECW is where he started to make his name, and then obviously he really solidified himself here in like this sort of time. Oh my god! Ouch! I'm not taking that split on the turnbuckle. That's unbelievable.
I think I remember Rey Mysterio predominantly from SmackDown.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Wow. What are they doing? What are they doing?
Surely he's going to jump out of this. Oh, yep. Ooh.
Oh, my God. That is awesome.
Oh,
he stole it.
No.
amazing. Amazing. Do you know what? I think it's an amazing match just in the sense of, like, it isn't the longest match in the world by any stretch of the imagination, but there's so much in there that you'd remember. Like, so many spots. That ref looks absolutely exhausted as well. He looks absolutely shattered.
It looks like there's no aircon in the building. Okay, so I'm guessing there's going to be something happening afterwards.
Oh, here we
There
go.
we go.
Here we go.
Right on cue.
Eduardo was not happy with that outcome.
I love Eddie as a heel, though.
Yeah, I think I said this last week in the Rumble recap, but I think he could do both so well.
Yeah.
Like, you could love him, and you'd love him with all your heart, and he could be the bad guy, and he was just so convincing.
No, what I remember him being very good at was like he would like go and bring a chair. He would smash the person over the head with a chair, or even make a fake sound as if the chair had been used on something, and then he would then throw the chair into the other person's hands, and the referee would turn around and look at you, and he'd go, my head, and and I just thought he was just really, really great at winding. He's a great wind-up merchant, I thought.
Yeah, definitely.
Very good.
He was such a great storyteller. I mean, right. So that's part one out of the way now. So we're gonna be moving on next. Sean, if you want to explain to us or explain to the viewers what pay-per-view we're looking for.
Yes. Sorry, guys. We are going on to Is it Backlash? I mentioned this.
It is indeed. Yeah, it is Backlash.
Yeah, 2002. We've got Eddie Guerrero against Adam's favourite wrestler, Rob Van Dam. Yeah, so if we search in Backlash 2002, and yeah, we'll give you a time, and we can count down from there.
It's from April 21st, 2002, and you want to be going to 1 hour, 13 minutes, and 55 seconds.
Perfect. Right, guys, so we are paused at 1 hour, 13 minutes, and 56 seconds. You should have just a screen with it's Backlash basically coming up on the screen. I'll count you in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and play.
Perfect.
And we're back in the land of WWE now. So, wow, another great set.
I was going to say, talking of sets, man, the Backlash set was classic. The little hooks that were just coming towards. Wonderful stuff. Wonderful stuff. And this is for another title match as well.
Is it?
Yeah, Intercontinental.
So RVD has the title.
Hey, listen, you can't deny a superstar of this guy, of his caliber. You know, as much as Adam will try to belittle him for his acrobatics.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, too. We've just watched a match with a real athlete, and now we're going to watch the roly polies. So
I don't know. I think you're going to eat your words on this, man.
I hope I do. But
Rob Van Dam was a hell of an athlete. I know.
Definitely.
We've discussed.
Yeah, maybe in the 90s.
I mean, we discussed in detail some of the absurdity of his rolling thunder move, which I'm sure we'll see in this match. Also, banging music for RVD.
I mean, some of the best ever fights actually have been for the Intercontinental Championship. They don't necessarily go for. I mean, I think Jericho, he's been through some great classics for the Intercontinental. CM Punk as well. Stone Cold, he had the Intercontinental title quite a few times as well, right?
He had it a couple of times, but his were both quite short reigns. Because the first one, he had to give it up immediately because his neck was broken. And the second one, he pretty much dropped it so he could go after the WWF title, and they didn't really want to beat him. So it was a bit of a weird one. But I mean, actually, that's the point. No one's actually picked a title as a theme, really, which is also like a route we could go down if we wanted to.
Yeah, I think there's some great intercontinental matches that you can think of. I mean, I think if you're going to say that, I was going to say obviously Jericho would have to be there. I think he's one of the best intercontinental titles holders that we've seen, right? Oh, go on, Eddie.
He would be. I'd be very tempted to go back to the early '90s for intercontinental matches as well. But
Eddie looks no different here.
Sorry,
Eddie looks no different here.
First roly-poly.
There it is.
Yes. Oh, how many roly-polies are we getting, Adam? We should have done this
edited that out, didn't they? Really? They changed the camera just in.
Oh, mate. I don't know. These two are another two that had a very good chemistry.
Yeah.
Whenever they were in the ring together. So there you go.
This one's already 10 times better than the other one. I think the formula of wrestling that's happened in the noughties is much higher than what was happening in the 90s. In the 90s, the actual matches a bit bland.
Are you saying 90 seconds into a match that this is already better than Ray and Eddie?
Already.
Wow. Okay, that's gonna throw some. Definitely gonna stir up some controversy.
It was a bit tough because obviously I'm used to seeing a much more mature and probably better Rey Mysterio. I didn't think that was so exciting, that last match, to be honest with you. Sorry to hurt your feelings, John.
Wow, no, it doesn't hurt my feelings. I'm surprised for sure because like I say, I think that is one of those sort of very, very much famous matches in both their careers. I don't know, maybe it's the nostalgia that people look back on it with. I am in shock, like literally. Like you're fuming about RVD. You're not happy with Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero. I mean, I don't know what to say. Oh, yes, I thought he was going to go for some prime roly-polies there. But no, I don't know. This is.
John doesn't know what to say. Hey, look, if you look at the bottom, that's when it was known as WWF. Look.
Yeah. Just about. I think this is right around the time period, and it literally could be a matter of weeks before they lose the court case.
That was a horrible move, by the way.
No.
What, the suplex?
The suplex followed by a pin? I don't know what it was.
He looked so proud of himself as well.
Oh yeah, by the way, it's Frog Splash versus Frog Splash here for anyone keeping score.
Okay.
Do you know what? Just talking about that WWF thing, obviously he went to WWE. How quick was Vince McMahon to say, "Hey, this isn't sport, this is entertainment," so that he wouldn't pay the tax?
He'd done that a decade earlier, like probably longer, in fact.
I just love the way he completely reversed it. He was like, "Okay, brilliant, we're not sport,
yeah.
We're done."
Ooh.
Oh god, that did not look fun at all.
Was it? We're going to see a Frog Splash here?
Yeah. They're teasing it.
I suppose really this is the start of the ruthless aggression era, really. Like, I mean, like you had the Attitude Era, which I mean, everyone has the. Oh, here we go. Yes. Oh no, he switched it up, Adam. He's done a cartwheel. He's done a cartwheel and a backflip. Oh, eat your words, Adam.
Goodness. How can you deny his athletic ability?
I think I can still do a cartwheel.
Mate, this is Olympic standard gymnastics, I will have you know.
What Olympic standard gymnastics? What sort of authority do you have to say that this is Olympic standard anything?
I'll have you know that I was absolutely amazing at like starting on your knees roly-polies when I was in school. Right, so I consider myself a connoisseur of such such athletic prowess. Well, that's another flip. Oh yes.
Maybe the jam roly-poly. That's about it, I'd say.
Oh well, yeah, there is that too.
I mean, Van Damme's obviously very talented, right? Let me just
Oh, he's
clarify.
digging his way out of his hole now.
Let me just clarify. He's obviously very talented, but I mean, the problem is, I mean, I'm seeing some great moves here from him, but it's just that the roly-poly just detracts from a lot of these great moves he's done, right? I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see what he does here.
But he legitimately was another sort of massive innovator for that time period. Like a lot of the work he did for ECW in like the late 90s was just it was insane how good this guy was.
It does feel though that the ECW stuff is obviously driven a lot by the nostalgia as well, right? I mean, it was very extreme as well, wasn't it?
I mean, there's very big elements of it that have not. Oh yes, here it comes. Here we go. Yes!
That's where you get the real power. You just overegged it.
You see the momentum that he got from that roly-poly ad.
Yeah, the momentum. It's true.
I think you're gonna have to eat your words and apologise after this.
It just, I mean, I really don't know what the value is of that roly-poly.
Aesthetically, mate.
Yeah.
He's putting the E in entertainment, mate. I'm telling you.
That's why I changed the name.
Yeah, it's I mean the ECW stuff. Going back to that, it's I think it's fair to say that there's large elements of it that probably haven't aged as well as you'd expect. But if you wanted, like, in terms of like fan participation or fan investment, like, it was years ahead of its time, absolutely years ahead. And you know what? Like, a lot of the ideas that WWE and WCW became successful on were probably guinea pigged and started by ECW. In all honesty, and it's like, oh, here we go.
Yeah, I mean, I think social media plays a part in the transformation of the company as well, right? I think there's an element now. What's he going to go for? I like this move. He's going to go. Yeah, here we go.
It's legitimately painful.
That's new.
This is slightly different to what I was expecting. I thought it was going to put him up in the air.
When he goes on his back. Oh, that's brilliant. Into a dragon sleeper. That is fantastic. That is fabulous.
A dragon sleeper. I never knew that was the name of that move.
Oh, do you know what? A dragon sleeper, like that'd be my finisher of choice if I was a wrestler.
Really?
Especially just don't shower before the match as well.
I was going to say,
be over them out, mate.
I wouldn't like to be underneath your armpit like that.
Oh, mate, you've been there many a time. You know how.
I really haven't. Just for clarity, I really haven't. This is on record.
I've been using the dragon sleeper as a finisher since we were in like secondary school. You know.
Really?
I thought he was going for another power bump. No, gory special.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
That's power, that.
Yes. God, don't skip leg day, man.
Was Guerrero ever on steroids?
He would have been, I'd imagine, because he had a lot of substance issues, which obviously led to the untimely nature of when he passed away. But
a lot of those. I mean, there's a lot of. I came across a YouTube video actually talking about that. There was even talk about what's his name, Triple H. Triple H came back off of using steroids, and you could see that his physique had kind of deteriorated. Also, is it Chris Masters? The guy with the master lock?
Yeah, Chris Masters. Yeah, that would have been.
He lost something like 50 pounds or something.
I was going to say, you could not take one look at that guy in like 2005 and tell me that he was the whole sort of shebang. That was not natural. Definitely not a naturally put together physique.
Yeah, because they tried to kind of when he on his way back, they tried to kind of say, the mean, he's now leaner and meaner, but I think they were covering up a bit of steroid abuse there, weren't they?
I mean, Eddie had not long returned to the company at this point because I think he'd had about like 6 to 9 months where he'd been out because of he ended up getting fired and rehired due to substance abuse issues. Because he was right in the middle of a storyline with the Hardy Boys, and it just seemingly just stopped, and then he was gone. I think they just said that he got it. They wrote him off on TV by saying he'd been injured. But actually, it was nothing like that. He actually had been fired. And then he went round on the independents for a bit. And I think he ended up taking on one CM Punk on the Indies back around this period as well.
That would have been nice.
Here we go. This is going for a second. Oh, no.
For the three, is he? The three amigos.
Not quite. Nearly.
I've got a feeling Rob Van Dam's going to roly-poly his way into winning this one.
You
I
think?
hope
I do think. I don't hope so.
so.
Not a
I normally
fan
go
then.
for the heel anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Although, to be fair, I find it hard to believe that Rob Van Dam isn't the heel with those roly-polies.
Do you know Rob Van Dam around this time was one of the most beloved superstars they had?
Yeah.
Like, the fans absolutely adored him.
I
did as well. I love Rob Van Dam.
Same.
Like, I got a lot of time for Rob Van Dam. I think he's very unique.
His fights were never boring.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why weren't they boring?
He was just so a bit like Mysterio, like the quick pace to it and
Innovative offense.
Yeah, there was a good.
Do you know what?
Look at that.
Oof. Maybe for its time. Maybe it's for its time. But I guess that I only really ever took notice of Rob Van Dam when he was maybe he'd come back. He'd come back around 2008 time, maybe 2007, and that's when I really noticed it. And I thought, wow, this guy, his athleticism is kind of, it's not quite the same as the other guys that are currently on the circuit, right?
Oh no, he left in 2007. I think it was 2013. He made a comeback.
The 2013, and then that's even worse, then, right? I mean, there's even bigger ones out there. Ooh.
It's like Ricochet now,
yes.
though, right? Like Ricochet's ability, like athletic ability, is amazing. Like when he first came onto Raw, I was so excited to see what he was going to do. Unfortunately, it hasn't really worked out for him, has it?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's disappeared off TV completely, hasn't he?
Yeah.
High flies don't seem to work out very.
Oh, we're going for some patented cheating here, by the way.
I don't know when Guerrero does this.
A steal.
Oh, ref's gone. Zebra down.
on the belt.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
That wasn't. If you did it on the belt, if you did the move on the belt, that wasn't a DQ, was it?
No, I think it was. Technically.
Oh, really?
Yeah, technically. I mean.
Latino heat.
Oh, right on the face as well.
Yeah.
Nah, mate. Wrong prediction there, Adam.
Great stuff.
The ref was
Great
quick
stuff.
to
Give him the
tap
belt.
Only one roly-poly. That's a disgrace.
No, I mean we had the cartwheel into the somersault. You know, it was. Oh, like I say, man, that was Torval and Dean stuff, just without the ice.
Maybe he wasn't happy backstage with having to drop the title, so he's like, well, if I'm dropping the title, I'm dropping the roly-polies, and that's what the people came to see.
That's what I came to see.
That's what you were expecting, right?
Always.
We'll have to find another one where there's going to be plenty of roly-polies.
We might do a Rob Van Dam week just for you. So
I'll tell you what, I could think of a couple of matches if we did. So.
In fairness to him, it wasn't bad. He came out with pace and some speed. It wasn't too bad, actually.
I thought that was a great match. Yeah. Well, I think that's because the problem is we've set a precedent on this where we seem to pick like the longest humanly possible match of like every superstar that we have. And then when you have a Triple H week, which goes into about 18 parts because like his matches are so long, you know. Right, so that will lead us on to Adam. Where are you taking us, sir?
So I will be taking us to Eddie Guerrero versus Brock Lesnar in his classic match. I think it was a title match. However, let's just have a quick pause, and I need to go and find out where exactly it is, and we'll just be back in a quick second.
No problem.
So we are at No Way Out 2004. This might be Eddie Guerrero's pinnacle of his career, potentially, or one of them anyway.
It's a landmark moment for sure.
Yes. It's the big beast, Brock Lesnar versus Eddie Guerrero. We are just before the promo of the match, so we're actually on 1 hour and 48 minutes 53 seconds. So we'll give you a couple of seconds. That's 1 hour, 48 and 53 seconds if you're on the WWE network. And to be honest, I don't know too much about this, so I'm looking forward to seeing the promo.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe we can begin.
Yeah.
I'll do a quick countdown. In 3, 2, 1, go. Eddie Guerrero only 5'9", eh?
Yeah.
Not so tall. He looks much bigger in on the screen.
Brock, though, I think he's brilliant. I love Brock. I hope he comes back to WWE. I know he's having a time off at the moment, is he? But
he normally comes back for SummerSlam, doesn't he?
yeah, he's such a big draw. I think.
What's going on here? Is that Royal Rumble?
SmackDown did their own version of a Rumble, it looks like.
Right. Yeah, goes Rikishi. There's Kurt Angle. Gosh, Kurt Angle. We got to do a Kurt Angle night, don't we?
Yeah. Well, it's your decision for next week. Just putting it out there.
Yeah. It's going to be a Kurt Angle night.
Oh, well, there you go. Spoiler alert. No anticipation for the remainder of the evening. Oh, man.
Sure, people weren't tuning in just to see my Kurt Angle. Oh, to see what the night would be next. Although I could change my mind if you do want suspense.
No. Listen, I'm good with a Kurt Angle night as much as anybody.
Yeah, I think so. Although I think, do you expect there to be any TNA matches in there?
Well, if there is, we're going to have a little bit of a problem accessing them. So.
Oh, that's true. Very true.
Oh, is this when Brock was on the mic? He didn't have Paul Heyman then.
I've heard him once on the mic before. It was awful.
It's bad, yeah.
It is terrible. It's funny. He loses his
mystique.
Yeah, the fear factor is completely gone.
The monster side of him, yeah, exactly. He's a scary, scary man, though.
So they were playing a lot on Eddie's past of addiction here.
Bit of the Jeff Hardy.
Yeah, pretty much.
Storyline.
As much as things change, as things stay the same, right?
Yeah. It's a good way of making the babyface, though, isn't it? I suppose.
It's sad to think that, like, a year and a half later, he's gone, man.
Yeah.
Well, just over a year and a half later, it's just, man. Look at him. What a guy.
Yeah, very, very, very sad situation, isn't it?
I think it was Batista on that program you referred to earlier said that there's no one been better to like own a crowd and get a crowd to make like reactions and stuff like that, you know.
100%. Man. Oh, what? I didn't realise he'd beaten him. What's going on here?
Yeah. No, he just stole it from him, right? I don't think he'd beat him. Or anyway.
Oh, mate, this music.
Dudum.
Like, it is that sort of music, and you don't get a lot of it these days, where you hear it and you just know it's about to go down.
Yeah.
It's like something is about to go down when you hear this music. It's just fabulous.
I was watching documentary, obviously the ruthless aggression documentary that they're doing at the moment.
Yeah.
And when he fought when he fought Kurt Angle, and he did that backflip.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man, yeah. That was not good. Not good.
But what athleticism he had for like a big guy, 6'4", and he could do that off the top rope.
Yeah,
well,
250 pounds. Let me just see. I need to convert that into
kilograms. The worst bit is he's like 25, 26 at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, but then he didn't he almost make it to become 113 kilograms. Gosh, that's pure muscle.
Yeah.
That's just pure muscle. Didn't he almost get back into American football?
He not long after this, actually, later that year, he was doing tryouts for American football, and he got, I don't think he got
right?
drafted, but he was like one away from being drafted.
That was when he got the
Rather low.
famous Madison Square Garden reception.
Indeed, yeah. Here he is. Look at that.
Yeah,
I love the low
did get
rider.
that. Yeah, he did get that Madison Square. Yeah, that was interesting, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
And Stone Cold on the Broken Skull sessions, he was doing it with Goldberg, and he said that night he had never seen a crowd like that.
Look at this man. He does own the crowd
Yeah.
massively. Like, oh man,
Where was he from?
he's a Texan. He's
Texan,
yeah, like El Paso, but like obviously like
that's fajita, isn't it?
Mexican background and so on. Like, what was that, Sean?
That's where you get the fajitas from, isn't it?
Yeah, probably, yeah. More like, I don't know whether you're trolling there or being serious.
I don't know much about the cuisine, so I can't comment really.
Oh mate, that does remind me though. There's a classic WrestleMania 6. I think I was watching it recently, and El Matador, Tito Santana, sort of like another famous Mexican wrestler, is in a match, and Jesse Ventura makes a joke how he should have basically just he should have given his opponent some food, and then he would have ended up winning by count out because the guy would have like got the trots and had to run off mid match. I was just like, that makes absolutely no sense, but it's hilarious at the same time. It's just. And here we are, just about to embark on a WWE title match, and I'm talking about Jesse Ventura and El Matador. You know, man, that crowd are in. This crowd are bought in big time.
Whereabouts is this? Do you know?
Oh, top of my head, you got me on that one. I don't know. I don't know where this is taking place. That might be up to our friend Google to find out.
Yeah, it doesn't say here on the side. I'll have to have a look.
I'm just having a quick look at on the side here. No, it doesn't say.
No, I'll have a look.
The Big Show and Kurt Angle.
They are in, aren't they? They really are.
Yeah. I mean, like the winner of this was going on to face Kurt Angle at WrestleMania.
It was at Cow Palace, which is in California.
Yeah, that's a famous arena. I'm not sure it's still there, actually.
It only holds 11,000 people. Wow.
Yeah. But that's what I mean. I sometimes think the smaller a building is, the more intense you can get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Full Sail with NXT.
Yeah, Full Sail of NXT. Like even Empress Ballroom in Blackpool, when I've been up there for NXT UK takeovers and that, it's like that probably doesn't hold more than about 3,000 or 4,000 people, but it's absolutely electric in there. Actually, I might even be completely overstating that. It might not even hold. I don't know. I'll have to get back to you on that, but I do think the smaller the venue, it can work for the crowd.
Yeah, I mean, you notice that with some football stadiums, right? I mean, if you have a smaller crowd, having a bigger crowd doesn't necessarily mean a better atmosphere, right?
No, sure.
Well, yeah. I mean, you guys would know, right?
Just brings in more casual fans, I guess, right?
Yeah, true. Man,
look at the size difference here, though.
God, look how high he went there as well.
It's just that his matches are so powerful. I don't know if that's the right word to describe, but
well, you know it's not. It's going to be hard hitting. There's no two ways about it with Brock, and like this is Brock pre-UFC as well, so he doesn't even have that sort of like legitimacy. Well, I mean he does because like being an NCAA champion is a pretty big deal, like particularly with how they love their college sports and so on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he was pure wrestler, wasn't he?
Yeah.
At this stage, right? He wasn't the MMA fighter that he's kind of become. You know, bring in the gloves and the whole sort of.
I know Drew was saying this year. Obviously, he fought him. He said like practicing for the fight and stuff. He said there's no one better. Like he's so professional, which doesn't surprise me really.
Well, you know, it's funny because I know he gets a bad rep from the fans about he only shows up like a couple of times a year and all this, and like I don't know if you're in his position, like I think it makes sense because he's what you don't have a lot of left in wrestling are attractions, and he's like a legit sort of Andre the Giant like style attraction now.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I actually think it works for him. I think the
Definitely.
fact that he's not always there, and also, it gives somebody else, it gives other people on the roster to, in the downtime to go and develop. Because if this guy's here all the time, he's going to be in the main event all the time, and it's going to take somebody's space.
Yeah.
Never gonna get
Eddie
somebody
is
new over.
literally flying, by the way. Like these suplexes, like Eddie's practically like he's like if he was getting turbulence, I wouldn't be surprised. Like he's been elevated like anything.
I'd like to
Just-
see Heyman turn on Brock Lesnar. I think that would be a nice little twist.
Oh,
Um,
see, I mean they done that in like 02, didn't they?
Yeah, they did that.
Yeah.
Didn't he turn on him with
Big Show.
Big
was it?
Show, yeah.
Yeah.
I sort of think it'd be good, but then unfortunately Brock would have to talk at some point.
That's the problem, isn't it? Yeah.
It's good for the moment. That's it. And then after that, you kind of it was a little bit like, I think, when CM Punk and Heyman got together as well. It was like it was good for a moment, but then that was quite good. I think it was when Heyman kind of split on CM Punk. For me, it's good. It doesn't have legs after a while.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
And then they gave him Ryback to work with, and it was like, Oh man.
Yeah, right
See,
back. I love that interview with CM Punk afterwards.
Oh man.
Because Ryback kept. I don't know if you've heard this, Sean. I don't know, John has, but apparently Ryback kept hurting him, right, and kept doing like really dangerous moves. And he said, so basically, either you're either you're actually deliberately trying to hurt me, or you're as dumb as hell, right? And he goes, and he says, well, no, I'm as dumb as hell. So, I don't know what's happened to Ryback. Is he still around?
No, he walked out on the company because he was having a lot of disputes over like pay and. I mean, he's one of these guys that's trying to, and rightfully so, like that he sees there being a big disparity between the money that they make for the company and then the money that they are then compensated with. And I think he was locked in contract talks and basically just came to the conclusion that he was done. And he could see the writing on the wall that they were starting to kind of beat him on TV all the time and like lessen his value. So he just done one. And he does a podcast now, and he's all like into his motivational speaking and like does a lot with nutrition and things like that. So I mean, like he's doing things on his own terms at the minute, which is cool,
Would have thought maybe the other guys would have tried to pinch him.
You never know. It wouldn't be. I wonder though if he'd get the whole sort of you can't wrestle sort of nonsense from because if he went AEW, I think they're too smarky to want Ryback.
Yeah.
It'd just be like, oh, he's a WWE reject. Oh, he injured CM Punk. Like that. That's.
There was another, because I was watching a video on basically injuries, right? And there was another one where, I think it was people breaking character, wrestlers breaking character, and there's one where Randy Orton, he starts calling Kofi Kingston stupid.
Oh yeah,
and what happened there? I'm not sure if I knew what went on there.
They managed to recall that 10 years later and turn it into a TV feud, but like Kofi went for it. No, I think Randy wanted Kofi to take a particular move or something, and then Kofi, like, it was a miscommunication. So then Randy just like RKO's the hell out of him, and then just starts screaming stupid at him and all this kind of stuff. And once Kofi got the title, they eventually did like a massive program last year with him and Randy, and they were touching on that a lot. Like they basically brought that kind of that real life issue into the storyline.
Right. Okay. How do they do that?
Well, they just kept referring to it and having Randy refer to him as stupid and stuff like that.
Right.
So
okay.
that the smart fans basically work out what's going on as such. But
okay.
Yeah, Randy's mic work's got better, I must say. Like his feud with Edge at the moment, his mic work's been really good.
I think he's one of the best things in the company. Full stop. At the moment, he's an unreal performer, but.
That was always what was missing, though, wasn't it? Really, the mic stuff. He was good on it, like when in Evolution days and stuff. But I think now he's got even better. His promos are brilliant.
By the way, looking at what's going on in the ring here, Brock could really legitimately put Eddie to sleep. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, of course, look at him. He's like an ape.
I just can't believe he's 25. Jesus.
yeah, he's young. He's very young, like mid to late 20s in this. It's crazy.
Look at those shoulders. That's just, it's insane. It's insane. I mean, and the thing is, the way that he can jump, and for a guy his size, it's kind of. I mean, it's kind of incredible, right? It's kind of unbelievable in a way.
You don't get many athletes in a generation that are Brock Lesnar's. You know, like he is special. Like, oh man, it's interesting to see Eddie work a match with completely differently to the previous two.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot faster paced and he largely did a lot of the controlling of this match, and you could sort of, I don't know, you could see that it's this is a very different. So it's a very WWE main event match.
Yeah. He's starting to edge into. He's had his beating, and now we're going to see how he edges back into it. Just a quick one though. On talking about next week's pod, I might actually think about. We were talking about this last week. I might also go for the Legend Killer. So I need to decide. Do I want to go for Kurt Angle or shall we go for a couple of Legend Killer fights?
Either would be good for me.
I mean, I'm not going to complain with either, really.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, to be perfectly honest.
I need to decide.
I think I know what I'm going to pick if you pick the Legend Killer stuff.
Okay, because I definitely know. I think I'm most likely to go with the Legend Killer stuff because. But let's see. Let's see how I'm feeling at the end, because I know we're going to do Kurt Angle eventually. But I think I missed it. I missed Randy Orton and his Legend Killer phase actually. I didn't really know him then.
Oh, interesting. So I guess this would have been that sort of time period as well. Just he was on Raw instead of SmackDown.
Yeah.
It's part of Evolution still. Man.
I keep bringing it up, but watching Brock Lesnar's first UFC fight and just the way he absolutely mauled the guy. I mean, the guy who was fighting, I can't remember what his name was.
Frank Mir.
Was it Frank Mir? Okay, yeah, the guy who was fighting, he got so lucky. He got absolutely beaten and ruined completely in that first fight. And then obviously Brock, he kind of thought he was wrestling a little bit. You know, that's a bad name.
That didn't look fun.
No.
But then I think Brock maybe he started showboating a little bit, and then he obviously had to tap out afterwards, and then obviously I think it was a year later he got his rematch and he won.
I was going to say, because I remember the rematch more than I remember that, and that rematch was just as soon as Brock grounded him, that was it. He just punched him to death pretty much.
He didn't make the same mistake as last time. The thing is, though, if Brock starts going at you and he starts pounding on you, I mean, there's not much you can do. Look at him.
Absolutely nothing.
You know.
I mean, like, how do you guys feel about when you're watching this match and you sort of look at it and go, legitimately, do you think Eddie Guerrero and Brock Lesnar could have an actual fight?
No, I don't think anyone in the company can have a fight with Brock Lesnar. That's if I'm honest.
I think there's people that could, but I don't know. Like, I think Eddie would be Eddie would be scrappy enough to have a go, though. I reckon, because he was a bit of a hothead. There's a classic story about him and Kurt Angle getting into a backstage fight around this time.
Kurt Angle at this time probably could, by the way. Probably could.
Oh yeah, I think Kurt Angle did. I think they got into trouble for it. Like, I think Bruce Pritchard was saying on his podcast that there was a day where before one of the TV tapings, all the guys were out in the ring and surrounding the ring, and Brock and Kurt were sort of having a bit of, I bet you couldn't beat me in like an amateur sort of fight. And I think they actually sort of got goaded into it, and it sounded like Kurt pretty much had control of it. And Vince wasn't very happy about it, like when he found out.
Yeah.
But like Kurt and Eddie also got into it, and apparently Eddie went for Kurt Angle, and he tried to sort of like double leg takedown him or something, or do some like proper sort of amateur move on the amateur wrestler. And
not gonna work.
He got slaughtered. And I think someone asked him afterwards, "What were you thinking?" And he's just like, I don't know, man. I'm stupid. Like, once he cooled down, he realised that was an absolutely ridiculous. Like, bringing a knife to a gunfight sort of thing to do.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great
Ooh.
counter.
Yeah.
See, 'cause I like that. That's where it brings in that believability. Like that's almost the Frank Mir thing that you were talking about. It's like Brock was getting a bit cocky, and like Eddie suddenly found a way to like ground him.
The crowd are loving it as well.
And that's the key, right? Because obviously, if you're looking at this fight in reality, Brock's not, Brock would destroy him, right? In reality, but if you can suspend belief and tell that story, then that's what makes it good. That's what makes a great match, isn't it?
Yeah,
Well, also
definitely.
you've got that thing with Eddie where like he's willing to cheat to win and things like that. So it's like you've always got that to fall back on in the sense that like, all right, maybe Brock can beat it. Maybe he can beat Brock. He just can't beat him fairly.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I'm pretty sure he won't. I'm pretty sure he won't beat him cleanly. That's the whole beauty of Eddie Guerrero, isn't it?
Very
he won't beat him
much,
cleanly.
man.
He could be a baby face and still do a dirty move and people would like it, right?
It's mad, because how much of an influence like Eddie's had on like the current generation, like Sasha Banks is like a massive, like she got into wrestling because of Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah, I saw that on the Chronicle thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and apparently on the show where they did the tribute episode after he died, apparently she was at that show, which
really?
I didn't realise. I thought that's mad.
Yeah.
And she told the story about sort of like getting to the building and everyone's crying, and she's like, "What's going on?" And then they found out that like Eddie had died, and obviously she would have been devastated because that was her guy.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, but like, oh, it's amazing. I love this.
It's
a good
like
main event.
it's like the other one. It's building, isn't it? It's building.
Yeah, but like here we go, back to the power. It's almost like Eddie gets a little bit of hope, and then suddenly Brock just kills him. It's really, really good.
He's very impressive. He's very impressive. I just going back to your whole point, actually. For me, you don't need him all year round. Anyone who complains about having him all year round, I think is.
I agree. I mean, I find it frustrating when he comes back and he's immediately like you just put the title on him, and then you build to the next guy that's going to take the title off him for him to go away and then come back and get that. That's become a bit tedious in years gone by, because I do think that he's enough of an attraction that you could have him.
Wow.
Oh, wow, that was unique. You could definitely have Brock on the show without him having to be in the title picture, because there's enough people there that are like, for example, take like a Bobby Lashley or someone. Like, you could do a Bobby Lashley Brock Lesnar fight without needing the title, because you could just sell it as like two ex-MMA guys.
And MVP and Paul Heyman on the mics. That would do.
Oh, precisely. MVP he has been that in recent weeks. He's been fabulous.
He has, yeah. Far better than Lana.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Like, little figure 4 action. Turn it over, Brock, mate.
Yeah, I know.
Press up.
It's it's like a turn it over with a cobra stretch, and then all of a sudden.
That's that, yeah.
This does hurt though.
Oh my god!
Look how strong he is. He did that effortlessly.
You imagine Eddie's probably sat there going, "What is this guy doing?"
Yeah, I mean, all he has to do is move to the rope. Just do that one more time.
He's literally wiping the floor with him.
Yeah. Look at Eddie's back, man. He has been taken to the cleaners on this evening.
Jeez,
yeah. Looks like a GCSE art piece, doesn't it? His back.
I was gonna say, Brock, you were a bit slow going for the rope there, man.
Suspend disbelief, Adam. Suspend disbelief.
Yeah, well, they need to make me do it. That's their job.
I know these guys are athletic, but they're no Rob Van Dam. Let's be honest.
No,
I haven't seen one
absolutely.
roly-poly at all, or a cartwheel.
This is where they're missing out.
I mean, my expectations have risen immensely.
How do you suspend disbelief without roly-polies?
Without a roly-poly, because obviously the roly-poly, generates more power and speed.
Yeah, definitely.
I love it. He's going for like moves that he'd never normally do as well. So it's like even just creating the desperation through that is brilliant.
Well, that's the story, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
That he needs to make sure he grounds this big beast. There's no way he's going to tap out.
Going for Chris Benoit. His good mate, Chris Benoit.
Indeed.
Not quite, right? Because the crippler crossface was with the arm.
Yeah.
This is more of the John Cena's one, actually, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's an STF. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. But it's Ooh. We've got Lesnar selling the knee as well. Unbelievable. Yeah, yes.
Oh my god.
Oh. People think Brock only used suplexes when he came back.
Yeah, no, that's before Suplex City, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where he would actually go and do like 3 in a row. Gosh.
That's the other thing. Like Brock has inadvertently come up with so many marketable things. Because that whole Suplex City thing was just him, just being him during a match. And
was
then
it really?
Well, yeah, because he comes out with the infamous phrase, which I'm sure you all know.
Yeah.
Suplex City followed by another word.
Yeah.
And that was it. They Suplex City t-shirts became a big thing. But also, like, they've done them where they do it for the town that they're in. So it's like Suplex City, New Jersey, Suplex City, like LA. Yeah, it's just like it's such a clever market employ.
Yeah, I was gonna say somebody in marketing's having a field day with that.
Yeah, massively.
Like, well, let's just personalize it.
It's huge.
Here we go. It's been a little bit too much on the floor for my liking. I want to let's get up and throw Eddie Guerrero around the place a little bit more.
Well, I think if you did that for like a really, really long match and just had Eddie constantly flying, he wouldn't survive.
No, that's true. I'm looking forward to seeing how Eddie's going to turn this around, actually, because I'm confident he's going to win the fight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
WrestleMania. Interesting.
The face versus the heel. The face always wins.
Although this is called No Way Out, Adam, you did choose it. You know.
Oh, you're right. It's No Way Out, isn't it?
It's because you got that WrestleMania thing in the background.
I just saw WrestleMania in the background, so I thought, oh, anything could happen here, actually.
Oh, who's the champion, mate? That's Sean, have you managed to grasp who the champion is coming into this one?
I've got this one. Yeah, he had the belt around him, so it gave it
that's all right. Good man. Good man.
Which one was
just
that?
Checking.
Sean, which one was that?
Brock.
Okay.
I'm concentrating. Don't worry.
Actually, I'm not sure how I felt about the fact.
I wasn't.
I'm not sure how I felt about the fact the champion came out first. I'm not big on that. Champion should always be out last.
Very true. Yeah.
Sorry, Adam. I cut you off about 3 times.
That's a good point, though. Why do you think they did that?
No idea. I mean, maybe because of the low rider, but it did seem a bit a bit random. I don't think you had to have that done that way.
Maybe Eddie Guerrero was running late.
Maybe Vince just liked the good guy coming out second in that particular time period for some reason.
Yeah, it could also be the way the crowd popped for him.
Yeah.
It was just a question, actually, maybe this would be because, get you out of the way first.
Selling that knee, innit? Blimey.
Hugely.
Oh,
wow, that doesn't age well.
What did he say?
Just die, Eddie. It's like, that's not going to age well.
Oh dear.
Oh god, yeah.
It doesn't help that he's repeating it with blood all over his face as well. Comes across like a really bad Rambo movie at this point.
Yeah. He would be a good Bond villain or something, if he could.
I think if Lesnar actually had a bit more time for being around people, he could easily have had a career in Hollywood.
Yeah.
But I just think that he literally cannot be bothered with having to deal with other people.
He's quite a personal guy. They say that, don't they? He lives out on a ranch and stuff. He doesn't really want.
Yeah. I mean, there is an interesting interview on the network with Steve Austin. There's like a Stone Cold podcast that has Lesnar on it.
Oh, right.
And actually, Lesnar, when you watch it, Lesnar comes off really well.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I don't imagine Lesnar's a bad guy, right? I just imagine that he's just a pure athlete, isn't he?
Yeah.
You know, he's probably had a situation. He probably knew from a very young age that he was going to be a top athlete, and that was going to be his life.
Yeah.
Also, like when you realise what his background is, like because he didn't come from he basically grew up on a farm, and it was like, you know, he talks quite frankly about that in the interview where he's just like, look, you know, I came up in a like I lived in a scenario like every year where we didn't know what the income was going to be. Like if the weather was bad, it was going to affect what we made that year. And things like that. So when you think about like the sort of business moves that he's crafted for himself, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, is there anyone behind him? Do you know?
How do you mean?
Like an agent or anyone looking after him? That
I'm sure he must have advisors of some sort. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, good question. You'd think someone worth that amount probably would.
I mean, because you never know, right? They could always also be the ones that are meddling, right? You know, with how things are working, and they needed to work something out. It doesn't sound like it though. It sounds like he's very strong-willed, and
he's very shrewd. When his contract's coming up, he'll start talking to Dana White. Dana starts talking to him, so Vince then makes a better offer. Dana wants him, so he makes the best deal for himself, and he knows full well what he's doing.
And he's got the ability to do that, you know.
Yeah, and at the moment he's still a commodity in either.
Yeah, exactly.
Would he be able to go back to UFC now? Do you think?
I think the state UFC's in at the moment. It could probably do with him. Like,
why'd you say that?
lots of issues with like. I guess COVID's obviously had a massive impact, but there's been a lot of controversy about drug testing and fights and so on, and yeah, it's not necessarily in the best state it's ever been, but
yeah, I just wonder if he would actually. I thought he was going for wrestling now because obviously it was more suitable for his, you know, where he is in his life right now, right?
Yeah, you'd think, right?
Yeah, but then to be fair, these UFC, the money that they're on is.
Oh, Uno.
Oh, hello.
Here comes Dos.
Oh.
Yeah, that's two. I love the way he swivels the hips.
You can see it, yeah, but you can see he's shattered. You can see he's absolutely shattered with that.
But that's great though, because you'd expect him to be as well.
Yeah.
Brock really helped him out with him as well.
Yeah, I know, right? I know. He's exhausted.
Massively. Yeah, that crowd is getting into it.
Yeah.
It was like in that WCW match. The crowd seemed really indifferent until like the final minute or two. This crowd are with it. Definitely with it.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
Yeah, I knew that was coming as well. Yeah, now this isn't WrestleMania. I'm not sure if he's going to win. Surely he's going to win. The crowd would riot. Surely.
I don't know.
Just thinking.
Oh man.
This match has truly got me gripped, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's good.
The other two, they didn't have me as gripped. This one here, I'm really invested.
Here it is.
Oh, F5. Oh no, he got the referee down.
Karate kick.
That was good camera work. I think they didn't want to risk that he didn't actually connect, right?
I mean, I don't want to give anything away, but the fact that everyone has turned and looked at the entrance ramp is telling in itself. Very, very telling.
They're going to go get a new referee, no?
Well, yeah, eventually you'd think, right?
Okay, so why are they looking down at the thing? This is where Eddie Guerrero is going to screw him over, surely.
Oh, hello. Where's Brock off to?
Sledgehammer. Oh no, that's Triple H.
Oh, Joe, I would actually do that. Actually, I'd be like, do you know what? I've just 1, 2, 3. I'm out of here. See you later.
Well, he could just get DQ'd as well, because he is the champion. He'd retain it.
Yeah.
What's he going to do with this? Brock.
Well, he's going to
right on the
decorate him
floor,
like.
knocked out.
I was good. Yeah, true.
It seems completely unnecessary. Here we go.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so earlier in the show, they'd done a little skit where they'd got these Goldberg and Lesnar had got into it at the Rumble the previous month. So Steve Austin, who was like a Raw GM at the time, gave Goldberg a ticket to the event and was like, "Yeah, don't do anything I wouldn't do." So they did a little skit earlier on in the show where he basically like Goldberg ends up being thrown out by Heyman, like who was the GM of SmackDown. And he got arrested because he beat up a load of people or whatever. And him and Brock had a little scrap earlier. So everyone was kind of expecting that's what had happened.
I see, okay.
Which is hence why as soon as the ref went down, everyone started to turn to the right instead of looking at what was going on in the ring.
I feel like the new ref coming in should have basically seen what's happened and... Oh, wait a minute. The other ref.
Oh, the ref knows.
Nah, he's going to kick out. He's going to kick out.
Nah.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was going to say that would be a sucky way for it to finish, but...
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. Like one Goldberg spear, it's like, well, what would be the point?
Exactly.
Be like a crown jewel event.
God.
Yeah, here we go. This is more like it. And
but if he gets him DQ'd, he ain't going to win it.
Mate, the referee's out cold, John. You think I'm some sort of 2-year-old?
Listen, I'm trying to build some suspense here, mate.
You're a mark. You're a mark.
I'm a massive Mark, mate. Mark is my middle and first name.
Taz, it's not right. It's not right. What do you expect? Oh.
His entrance music is literally "I lie, I cheat, I steal."
Yeah. It's like he's only spent the last couple of years telling you this, lad. But, you know.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Oh, the suspense. Oh yeah, drop him on it. Go on, Rock.
F5.
Oh, what's gonna happen here?
Good night.
Oh,
nice.
There you go.
Disrespecting the belt.
Brock, reposition yourself, mate.
I'll tell you what, you say that, watch Eddie.
Oh, wow.
That's amazing. Like, I'm so glad that you said that.
Oh, that was good. That was good. That was definitely worth the wait.
I'll tell you what, this crowd reaction and Eddie's celebration, like, it gives me goosebumps, but also makes me almost quite tearful. Because you're like, this is just...
Yeah.
It's just so sad when you know where this is going.
Yeah, I mean, the discussion I heard is that he struggled with the fame that came with it, right? And you're always on.
Yeah, and I think SmackDown didn't do too great in terms of like ratings and house shows and stuff for a while, and he took it personally, like it was his fault.
Yeah, because you're carrying the company at the end of the day, aren't you?
Yeah, but then I think by that stage though, it had gotten past the point where it was like it was the brand name, not the person at the top of the card. It's like the brand wasn't hot at that time. It weren't Eddie, because the wrestling fans loved Eddie, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's his mum.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, it's
That was very good.
It's an incredible match.
I really enjoyed that much more than the roly polies. I've got to say.
Fair enough. I think the contrasting styles of Eddie and Brock really add to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is actually when Michael Cole was really good on comms as well. I really think Michael Cole was fabulous in this match.
Hey.
Love it. That little shimmy.
Yeah.
I want to see footballers adopt that as a celebration, by the way.
What's that flag?
I think it's a Mexico flag, isn't it?
No.
Yeah, I think so.
Or like either that or it's like a personalised flag.
Okay.
It's amazing. I might be an El Paso flag,
Yeah, I
actually.
think it is.
Look at that smile, man. How could you not love that guy? Like, honestly, just look at that face.
That was a really great move. Like that was a really great move. Like, and you didn't know where it was going to go. You thought, okay, he's going to drop him with the F5. Yeah, that was really good. So then what happens next,
Yeah.
John? So 2004. This is going into WrestleMania. He defends against who?
So, Kurt Angle, yeah. So, I was saying earlier on, there'd been a freeway between Cena, Big Show, and Angle to determine a number one contender, which Angle had won.
Oof! Oh my
So,
goodness, that must have been a great match. That was the match that I would have chosen if I hadn't, right? If I hadn't chosen this one.
yeah, that's correct. Actually,
Okay.
yeah,
Oh,
that would have been
incredible as well.
that
Why
was
didn't
your
you
one that
two?
you were going to choose.
Why didn't any of you two choose that one?
I wanted to try something different with the WCW stuff, and my memory of that Ray and Eddie match was that it was just amazing.
I want to see roly polies, so.
Yeah, Sean's a man for the roly polies, mate. So, you know how this works.
I do.
So I mean, I do hope you guys have enjoyed listening and watching along with us. We will be returning again next week. Adam, would you just like to confirm what the topic will be?
This is tough now actually because I could go straight to that Kurt Angle match because that could be my choice. Do you know what? I am gonna go with. This time round. I'm gonna go with Kurt Angle.
Okay, cool. Solid choice, and that's going to be a headache trying to pick out just one Kurt Angle match.
Yeah, I'm glad we've got a week.
Yeah, pretty much, right?
Yeah, three Kurt Angle matches. That'll be a great pod.
That'd be brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So in the meantime, then, thank you again to Sean and Adam. They were like all jest aside, they were two tremendous picks, and I've really enjoyed watching those again tonight. So hopefully you guys have had a wonderful time watching and listening along as well, and we will see you again next week. From Sean and Adam and me, this is bye.
See you later.
Adios.
Ah, nice.